So all crap and complaints aside, there's no getting around that. Bethesda basically fucked their game up with this last update, especially if you're on PC. So before getting into the video, I just wanted to basically say I feel for you guys, regardless of the platform that we play on. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we all come from the same community, and it sucks to see that they're so stubborn in doing something that everybody, or at least everybody that it affects, are so strongly against. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, they get their heads out of their asses and fix this thing, because it's ridiculous, dude. They basically bait and switch the PC community, but their bait and switch has a potential of breaking your hardware, and to mention all the bugs and crashes and all the other crap going on. So hopefully they get their heads out of their asses. I'll be sure to let you guys know what's going on with this. As of right now, they're really focused on creating stability for those bugs that Denuvo introduced rather than removing Denuvo. So it's going to be very interesting how this pans out, but just wanted to say that, just, you know, get out of the way. Anyways, enjoy the video. So this was initially meant to be a completely different video, but looking into the death report, and then I started looking at the amount of damage that certain weapons were doing, and how slayers can very easily or in a very hard-headed way chip away at a demon's health. And I was trying to compare how accurate the death report really was, which we're going to talk about a little bit here today, but we're also going to be talking about the rocket launcher. This is something that I think, regardless whether you play primarily as a demon or primarily as a slayer, this is going to be something that's interesting to keep in mind, because the rocket launcher, specifically the detonation mod, is a little bit of a crutch. I think that's kind of putting it gently. So I've been noticing, you know, I'm guilty of this myself, a lot of slayers rely very heavily on the rocket launcher. Ever since that nerf to the lock-on mod, many more people have switched over to the detonation mod, and I don't think people are aware of how crazy this thing really is, because the base damage of this thing is about 300 to 350. That's on the lower end, and that is of the detonation itself. So that's not even considering a direct hit, and this thing does more damage in its horizontal blast radius. If you ever notice, the blast radius is horizontal and not horizontal and vertically. So right here is an example. This guy ended up shooting his rocket launcher and detonating it directly beneath my feet, and because I was above that horizontal blast radius, I was on the lower end of the damage. Right here specifically, I received 354 damage, but if you are in that horizontal blast radius, and obviously if you're closer to the actual detonation itself, then you can be expecting a minimum of 384 to 400 damage. And the reason why this is important, because to put that in relation to the demon's health, you can kill a revenant and a marauder player in as little as just 6 rockets, obviously without having to even hit them. And the slayer from the start of a round is given 9 rockets. So that means from the start you can harass the weaker demons, or pretty much even the Mancubus or any other demons, with detonations, not even having to actually hit them, and finish your matches relatively quickly. And I feel like this is a huge flaw in battle mode, because id Software is really trying to emphasize the whole skill and trying to rotate your weapon combinations. This requires you to not even be accurate, especially on a map like Extraction, where you can literally take a portal and be put immediately behind the demons. You can follow a demon, shoot a rocket, detonate it, switch to something, go back to your rocket, and do the exact same thing. If you're quick enough, you can kill him in, I'd say, no more than 10 seconds. If you're on top of him, his ass is yours. And yes, the detonation does do a little bit of damage to the slayer if they are inside that blast radius as well, but the amount of damage that you receive is about 11, or at least that's the number I kept consistently coming up with. And if you're smart about it, you can actually detonate it before you even enter the blast radius. So if you do that, you won't receive any damage at all. It's just too much of a crutch. I would say a good fix for this is one of two things. Reduce the total amount of rockets that slayers are given from 9 down to, I'd say, at least 6. Or another system I had in mind was, for the rocket launcher specifically, you leave the total at 9, but as you start to chainsaw enemies, you get dwindling returns, or the amount of ammunition you can keep in your inventory starts to dwindle. So you go from 9, you chainsaw an enemy, it drops down to you can only have 7 rockets. Chainsaw another enemy down to 5, all the way down to you hit 2. Or you can cut the detonation damage in half. I think that would be another option there, but I'm not really a fan of nerfing things. I think instead you should slightly give all the other weapons a buff and just cut that ammunition for the rocket launcher, and fix your death report, because it's kind of annoying to see the rocket launcher do 1 damage. We all know that's not true. And just so you guys know, the damage report is really weird. Basically, on the surface, it shows you the last 5 hits and then the killing blow at the very top. So it's not going to be a full detailed report of everything that injured you throughout that round, especially if it was a very long round. But I think the damage report isn't very specific. It's kind of like a general idea of the base damage that you received from a certain gun. I remember one of my damage reports claiming that a super shotgun hit me for 90 damage, but in reality the super shotgun actually hit me for 200. So I wouldn't recommend relying so heavily on the damage report. It's just kind of an idea of what happened in a quick overview type of window. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How would you guys approach the rocket launcher? Do you guys think it's fine, or you guys are gonna try it for yourself? If there was any adjustments brought to it, what would you want to see done to it? What do you think is a nice balance? That's gonna do it here for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it and found it informative. But until next time, guys, I'll see you all later.